I'm being very, very greedy today. I'm not ready for this triple cheeseburger. We've got an issue with this coil pack plug. Rust might fry the nodis, and we don't want that. That don't sound right. In other news, Triumph man John is here. Just check how mint this thing is.
Absolutely no damage.
My good friend Rob just noticed that there was actually some damage on Maude. So you got engine management light, have you? There it is. Cylinder 2 misfired. Esther is now in the shop, ready for Rob to work his magic. Hello and welcome to this video. I'm Marcus Hayes, this is my beautiful girlfriend Kat, and today you join us in the car park of McDonald's. I'm being very, very greedy today. Got myself a wrap meal and a triple cheeseburger. Now today I'm being chauffeured around in Winston, the plastic Fiesta, because Maude, my Mk2 Escort, is out of action. Now those of you who watched the last video right till the very end will know why. So once we've eaten all this food, we're going to head down to my garage and hopefully get Maude back on the road. Also, Rob is pretty much ready now to make a start on the paintwork on the front of Esther, my ST170 powered Mk1 Escort. And we did actually just go to the car paint shop, but it's closed, so I'm going to have to pick the materials up in a couple of days. I'm not ready for this triple cheeseburger. Good job this stuff is healthy. Before we take a look at Maude's issues, I'm going to quickly vandalise Winston with a couple of my MH decals. We was going to fit white ones to him, but as these are now available in 9 colours, Kat has chosen silver. I've already degreased this area of the front wings, and that's where I'm going to stick the decal. Although it's about time you gave Winston a wash, I think. Poor old Winston gets abused by Kat. I have been dailying him for the last few days though, to and from work, so he's been treated well for those few days at least. Full throttle shifts. Don't know whether to go high or low. Do you reckon up here? Or by the swage line is? Do you reckon, yeah? Yeah. Such a weird shaped car, man. I think whoever designed this car don't have his eyes closed. Kat has chosen the position. You can leave now that I've branded your car.
Thank you.
Alright, so now it's time to get this old girl back on the road. Definitely going to have to go around this car soon and grind away the rust and give her a repaint. That's the problem with this matte black paint. It really doesn't protect the metal properly from rust, so got to be prepared to give her a repaint every year or so. As you'll know if you watched the last video right till the end, we've got an issue with this coil pack plug. That wire in the middle there, the red one, which is the power wire, has come out of the pin. Now I did order a brand new plug, but it hasn't actually arrived yet. So what I've done instead is I've cut this plug off of the loom that I've got for the ME100 ECU that's going to be fitted to this car when she gets her ST170 engine. And then when the new plug does come through the post, I'll just crimp that plug onto the ME100 loom. I think that the green and blue wires can actually be wired either way round, and then that will determine what the crank angle is set in the ECU. Now I'm not sure if this plug is wired exactly the same way round as this one, and I don't want to pull this boot off to find out. I want to keep that all intact. So what I'm going to do is temporarily wire this up to the loom that's fitted to the car and just check that it'll start, and then I'll take it back apart again and solder it out properly. In other news, Triumph man John is here fiddling around with his PI. And for those of you that are new to the channel, just check how mint this thing is. And John was actually just asking me about if there was any damage from our little accident in Mexico recently when we was drifting in the snow. And a couple of you were asking me that in the comments as well. But yeah, absolutely no damage to the front of Maude, so don't worry about that.
Absolutely no damage to the front of Maude, so don't worry about that.
That Mexico lane sign that I crashed into was only a flimsy plastic sign, and I wasn't the first one to crash into it. It was already sort of folded, so yeah, no damage at all to Maude.
No damage at all to Maude.
I think I should disconnect the battery before I start messing around with wires. Safety first and all that. Put some electrical tape over these joints because I'm pretty sure if these wires touch each other, it might fry the nodis, and we don't want that. She's alive. Right, so now I know that it runs, I can properly solder the wires, but Kat's just phoned me and said that she's had an engine warning light come up on Winston, and she was only round the corner, so she's gonna come back. And John has got a scanner for me to use. My good friend Rob's here as well, and he just noticed that there was actually some damage on Maude from our little incident in Mexico. The corner of the number plate and the front panel. Chris Kember's gonna kill me when he sees that dent on the front panel. It was only recently that he put that front panel on. So you got engine management light, have you?
Yep.
There it is. Yeah, I mentioned before that I heard some popping from Winston's exhaust, and I couldn't really notice a misfiring sound from the engine, but where I was driving Winston for the last few days, it did sort of seem like it was misfiring a little bit when you was sort of off accelerator, when you're sort of just rolling along. Now the fault has obviously got bad enough that there's an engine management light, so hopefully we'll get a code on John's scanner. Do we know where the ODB port is in here? No. Is it in here? Yeah. Plug that in there. Put the ignition on. Enter. Diagnostics. John, it's asking me if I want to erase previously stored data.
Yeah, first, yeah.
Yes? Read codes. Stored or pending?
Stored.
Cylinder 2 misfire detected.
Yeah.
Is that it? Oh, one of one.
Yeah.
Well, I've probably got some spare leads, so let me dig out a lead and just switch a lead out. Erase codes. Erase trouble codes, yes. Now we'll just nick a lead off of Maude to rule out the ignition lead. Definitely sounds like it's still misfiring. The light hasn't come up on the dash yet though. Plug looks alright. I might just switch it for another one and then see if the fault moves. Right, so Kat has taken Winston for a spin, and hopefully the fault will now move from cylinder 2 to 3 now that we've switched the plugs around. If not, probably gonna have to throw a new coil pack on it or something. Other than that, I can only think it could be an injector, but we'll see. While I'm waiting for Kat, I'll crack on with this on Maude. Well, that don't sound right, but I just remembered I nicked the lead off of Maude to diagnose Winston. Take 2. That's more like it. Right, so Kat is back with Winston, and the engine code isn't coming back on, but it is still misfiring a little bit. I'm pretty sure these coil packs are the same as what's fitted to Maude and Esther. But I think that plug looks a bit different. You turn it off, I'll just unplug it, see if they're the same. Because if they're the same, I've got spares of these to rule it out. This is where I break things now. I don't know how that unplugs. Can't unplug it. I'm scared to break it. I'm gonna remove the coil pack and then do it. Geezer at work who had a Z-Tech S one of these. No, a Z-Tech S earlier Fiesta. I lent him a coil pack once. I think that's different. It's different.
Completely.
Right, I've just whipped all the plugs out. I'm going to give them all a clean. Probably should have done that earlier. They all look alright to me, to be honest. Now, I can't fit one of my spare coil packs to Winston because the connector is different. Alright, Right, so I've put Winston back together. He doesn't run any better now that I've cleaned the spark plugs. I think we're just going to leave it as it is for now. Cat can carry on driving Winston round until the fault code comes back up on the dash, and then we'll rescan it and see if the fault has moved from cylinder 2 to cylinder 3 now that I've switched those 2 spark plugs round. If it stays at cylinder 2, that obviously rules out the spark plugs, and then I'll have a look at maybe switching 2 of the injectors round, see if the fault moves then. But yeah, I'm tempted to just buy another coil just to rule that out, but I'd rather not throw money at it until I can figure out what the actual fault is. Yeah, just give me a bell when the light comes back on the dash.
Yes, sir.
And now that Maude is back up and running, time to get Esther, my ST170 powered Mk1 Escort, out the garage. All right, so it keeps trying to rain, but before I go today, I want to remove these last few bits from the slam panel. So these chassis tags are just riveted on, so I'm just going to drill out the rivets. Yeah, seeing as this paint probably hasn't faded that much, this probably won't need repainting, but we'll see once Rob has done the paint job. When I switched to the fiberglass bonnet and the error catches, I'd done away with the cable obviously, and I left this attached because it's probably damaged the paint underneath from screwing this on. So basically I just left that on to hide any damage in the paint. But yeah, I won't be refitting this or this once this gets repainted. Yeah, scuffed it there, and that little bracket there is dug into the paint. Got the remainders of a rivet here, and I might as well remove these earth wires from the slam panel as well. I'll probably put these earth wires somewhere else once I put this back together, just so they're out of sight. Looks a bit ugly with the wires bolted here. Might as well get the battery out of the way actually. So there we go. She is now pretty much ready to let Rob work his magic. Yeah, got a little bit of damage here from where Rob was doing the panel beating and stuff, but I think he's going to paint the back of the front panel at the same time. But yeah, very soon the front will all be painted and I'll be able to put her back together for the last time hopefully, and actually get her on the road. And seeing as we're quite far away from spring, yeah, it's looking good in terms of time frames. But right now I need to get Esther back in her garage and out of the rain, because the rain is getting heavy again. Right, so the main objective of the day was to get Maude back on the road, which I've managed to do. Kat has just told me that the engine warning light hasn't come back up on Winston, so that's to be continued. Tomorrow I'm actually going to provide some care and assistance to my parents, and then the day after that I'm going to be back round the garage, and in fact that day I think Esther is going to be transported to Rob's workshop so that we can get the paint job done. But whatever does happen on that day, I'm going to continue this video then, so I'll see you in a sec. Hello, right, so a couple of days have passed, and as I mentioned earlier on in the video, yesterday I went to provide some care and assistance to my parents. While I was up there, I gave my dad the Mk2 Escort model that Robert Argyle gave to me, and yeah, he's well chuffed with it, so thanks again to you, mate. And today I brought this picture round to the garage that Max Cooper drew for me on his iPad, and I've hung it up in my garage. So massive thanks again to you, mate. Now, yesterday I actually took Winston up to see my parents, and he is still misfiring, but there's still no sign of the engine management light. Basically, I'm just going to tell Kat to keep driving him around until the problem gets bad enough so that we can actually pinpoint what part is at fault. Now today, as you would have seen in the clip a little while ago, I did manage to go to the car paint shop and pick up the materials for Esther's paint job on her front panel, and today I actually transported the car to Rob's workshop. I'm actually going to be heading back down to Rob's workshop in a minute, so I'll chat to you when I get there. Right, so I've made it to Rob's workshop, and as you can see, Esther is now in the shop ready for Rob to work his magic on this front panel. He's actually made it look even better than it was the other day. and we've now got the front lip mounted with bolts. We've put riv nuts in the lip of the front panel, and we've made the holes slightly big so there's room for adjustment, but yeah, it's pretty much on there nice and straight. Gonna remove that in a minute so it's out of Rob's way. Another thing I've been working on is this cam belt cover. Just trimmed a little bit off it so that I'm able to fit it and remove it without removing the alternator bracketry. And yeah, that slips on now. This is also going to be painted Olympic blue, and I've got this plastic spark plug cover which is also going to be painted Olympic blue, and I think that will look really cool when I get my other rocker cover back from S.B.C, which is going to be gloss black. Yeah, I actually made a mistake the other day when I said that Mick and his son Oliver own S.B.C. It's actually owned by a good friend of theirs called Peter Hunter. But yeah, massive thanks to all the guys at S.B.C for doing the powder coating job on Esther's rocker cover. And by the time I get that back from S.B.C, obviously the blue plastic parts will be painted as well, and yeah, this engine is going to look seriously cool. So yeah, Rob's going to be cracking on with the paint job over the next few days. So the next time you see Esther on the channel, she's going to be looking minty fresh again. And by then, I'll probably have the rocker cover back from S.B.C, and the chrome bits should also be back from the company that's doing those for me as well. Thanks in advance for your hard work, Rob. Really appreciate you doing this for me. And yeah, can't wait to see how it turns out. Right now, I need to get out of Rob's way, so I'm going to end this video here. If you did think it was any good, please do give it a thumbs up and a share. If you didn't, give it a thumbs down. Click subscribe to keep up to date with all my future uploads, and check the links in the description to my social media and my website. For those of you that would like me to share your cars on my social media and my website, there's also a separate email address in the description for that. But other than that, until next time, from me and Rob, thanks for watching.